When the RSC announced their next Macbeth, it was already a high-profile event. But when the names dropped, Sam Heughan as Macbeth and Lia Williams as Lady Macbeth, the news ricocheted from the theatre pages straight into mainstream entertainment headlines. For Sam, it was a daring step away from the world of television fame he'd built on Outlander. For Lia, a seasoned veteran of the stage with Olivier Award nominations, it was a return to the kind of role that made her a critic's favorite. The combination promised something rare. A Macbeth that could both satisfy Shakespeare purists and draw in new audiences who might never have stepped inside the RSC before. Why this Macbeth mattered. Theatre insiders understood what was at stake. Macbeth is no small mountain to climb. For Sam, it meant shaking off the comfortable familiarity of Jamie Fraser and disappearing into a character darker, more volatile, more humanly flawed. For Lia, Lady Macbeth is one of the most dissected roles in literature, a performance that can define, or redefine, an actor's career. Adding to the challenge was the RSC's decision to stage the play with an intense psychological focus. Stripped-down sets, no grand battle scenes, just raw performances in a shadow-heavy space. The intimacy meant every tremor of the voice, every flicker of an expression would be exposed. The work behind the curtain. Rehearsals were intense. In the mornings, Sam and Lia worked one-on-one with the director to hone the rhythm of Shakespeare's language. Afternoons were for full company runs, blocking out the sharp, almost cinematic scene transitions the director envisioned. Sam approached the role like an athlete. He trained for the fight scenes, practiced daily vocal warm-ups to handle the verse, and dove deep into historical research about the real Macbeth. Lia was the emotional architect. She worked on micro-expressions, subtle physical cues, and the dangerous intimacy between Lady Macbeth and her husband. More than once, crew members caught them locked in an unbroken gaze long after a scene had ended, both actors unwilling to break the spell until the director called it. The chemistry everyone could see. By the third week of rehearsals, their chemistry had become a talking point. In interviews, Sam praised Lia as one of the most generous scene partners I've ever had. Lia returned the compliment. Sam brings a vulnerability to Macbeth that makes him human, not just a tragic figure. Photos from the rehearsal room. Sam in sweat-darkened rehearsal clothes, Lia leaning in close during a line, began circulating online. Fans from both the theater world and Outlander's loyal base started booking tickets months in advance. For the RSC's marketing team, it was gold. For the actors, it was a high bar to meet every single night. The subtle signs of strain. Not all the attention was welcome. Some interviews drifted away from the production and towards Sam's personal life, or speculative questions about his offstage relationship with Lia. Both actors deflected gracefully, but the repetition was wearing. One cast member later recalled. You could see the shift. Sam would light up talking about Macbeth, but the moment the questions turned personal, the energy changed. There were also whispers about creative disagreements in the rehearsal room, nothing explosive, but small differences in approach. Sam was meticulous about movement and blocking. Lia sometimes preferred to improvise physically within a scene. The director kept the peace, but it added a thin undercurrent of tension. Building toward the big moment. As the final week before the press preview arrived, everything was moving toward the spotlight. Costumes were arriving. Sam's battle-worn tunic, Lia's blood-red gown for the banquet scene. Lighting tests painted the stage in deep shadows, making the castle halls look both majestic and claustrophobic. The music department layered in an eerie, almost industrial score that pulsed under key scenes. Every night, the cast left rehearsals physically drained but visibly excited. The feeling was that rare combination of exhaustion and exhilaration that only comes in the days before a major opening. The night before. On the eve of the press preview, the company wrapped early. The final run-through had been tight, a few missed cues, a sword strike that landed harder than intended, but nothing out of the ordinary for the stage. Sam left with his hood up, ducking out a side entrance to avoid a cluster of waiting fans. Lia lingered, chatting with the director about the damned spot scene, her hands animated as she described a new gesture she wanted to try. The mood in the building was hopeful. Crew members exchanged, "See you in the morning," with that shared no. The spark before the fire. You wouldn't believe what I just overheard, a boo. Minutes later, another account chimed in. If this is true, tomorrow's press preview. By midnight, the phrase, Macbeth rumor, was trending in the UK. Nobody in the company knew X. By dawn, the vague social media teases had hardened into something more concrete, or at least, more. One tabloid site splashed it across their homepage. Macbeth leads in backstage blow-up, Heughan and Williams in. The article was thin on facts. And then came the twist. A second outlet, eager to outdo the first, suggested the tension stemmed from offstage closeness gone sour. It was the kind of half-whisper that the spread. By mid-morning, the gossip had migrated from entertainment blogs to mainstream news. Headlines multiplied. Hey! From passion to fallout, leads reportedly at odds. Backstage drama spills into the spotlight. The hashtags #Macbeth rumor and #Heughan Williams were trending by 10 a.m. Fan accounts tried to tamp it down, but the harder they pushed back, the more the story spread. Even people who had no idea what the RSC was suddenly knew two things. Sam Heughan was playing Macbeth, and there was drama with his lady. The backstage morning. When Sam walked into the theater just after 9, the room felt different. Conversations paused when he passed. Lia arrived 15 minutes later, her usual warm greetings replaced with a quick nod. In the rehearsal room, the director called for a closed-door meeting with the two leads and the RSC's press officer. No assistants, no stage managers, just the four of them. The press officer laid it out plainly. We can issue a joint denial, we can address it separately, or we can ignore it entirely. But it's out there, and the preview is tonight. Whatever we do, we have to decide now. Lia crossed her arms. If we respond, we validate it. If we don't, we look like we're hiding something. Sam leaned forward, elbows on knees. If we let this overshadow the show, we've already lost. The work has to be the story, not this. The rehearsal that wasn't. They attempted a run of Act 2, but the atmosphere was off. The banquet scene, where Macbeth sees Banquo's ghost and Lady Macbeth tries to hold the feast together, usually crackled with controlled chaos. Today it just felt cautious. Lia missed a cue. Sam stumbled over a line he'd spoken 1,000 times. The cast went through the motions, but the electricity was gone. At the break, one of the ensemble muttered to another, "It's like we're in two plays now, the one on stage and the one the press is writing." The decision. By noon, the press officer had drafted a short statement. The rumors circulating online about tensions between our Macbeth leads are entirely false. Sam Heughan and Lia Williams are delivering extraordinary performances, and we can't wait for audiences to see them. It was neutral, it was professional, and it left no room for further speculation, at least on paper. Sam and Lia approved it, and it went out across the RSC's channels. But outside the theater walls, it barely made a dent. Social media users shared the statement alongside captions like, "Of course they'd deny it," or, "Sounds like PR damage control." The internet had already chosen its own script. The preview night. The press preview that evening was sold out. As the audience filtered in, whispers moved through the stalls. "I heard they had a massive fight. They used to be close. Not anymore." Sam stood in the wings, breathing slowly, focusing on the opening battle scene. Lia was a few feet away, eyes closed, rolling her shoulders in her pre-show ritual. They didn't speak, but not out of malice, out of necessity. The stage would require every ounce of focus they had. The performance under fire. From the first scene, the stakes felt higher. Every glance between them, every pause in their exchanges was charged with an extra layer. the audience watching for signs of truth in the rumor. And maybe, just maybe, that tension served the play. In the "screw your courage to the sticking place" scene, Lia's Lady Macbeth leaned closer than she ever had in rehearsal, voice low and cutting. Sam's reply came with an edge that wasn't entirely acting. The energy between them was raw, electric, and utterly compelling. By the time Macbeth saw Banquo's ghost, the audience was leaning forward, hanging on every line. After the curtain call, the applause was thunderous. The critics in the front row scribbled furiously in their notebooks. But backstage, there was no celebratory champagne, just quiet relief. Sam sank into a chair, running a towel over his face. "We made it," he said. Lia smiled faintly. "We did more than make it. We used it." They didn't need to elaborate. Whatever the truth of the rumor, whatever the intent of the people who spread it, they had turned it into fuel. The reviews. The next morning, reviews landed. The Guardian called their chemistry volatile and magnetic. The Times noted an undercurrent of danger between the leads that makes this Macbeth impossible to look away from. A few critics couldn't resist mentioning the gossip, framing it as offstage tensions mirroring onstage dynamics. But the majority talked about the performance, the thing Sam and Lia had wanted all along. The fate of the rumor. Within a week, the rumor had mostly burned out. New scandals took its place in the headlines. The hashtags stopped trending. The RSC sold out its entire run of Macbeth, adding extra performances to meet demand. Backstage, Sam and Lia developed a quiet camaraderie, not the warm public closeness of before, but a steady mutual respect forged in fire. Reflection. Shakespeare's lesson. One evening, after a particularly intense performance, Sam lingered in the empty theater. Lia joined him in the stalls. "You know," she said, "Shakespeare understood rumors better than anyone. Half his tragedies are about what people think they know." Sam smiled. "And the other half are about what they never will." They sat in silence for a moment, looking at the bare stage where kings had fallen and ghosts had risen, both in the script and, in their own way, in life.